Hello everybody, welcome to Daniel G Teaching. We're going to be reviewing this garden bed question. Now, first up question 25, that was all correct in that there's 4 planks on the top level, 4 planks on the bottom level. So here they are, 1, 2, 3, 4 from bird's eye view, also known as top view. So we've got 4 at the top and 4 down the bottom, that's 8 times 15, 120. That's all fine. But then for question 26, we need to make sure that we're interpreting these measurements in the correct way. So first things first, we'll go over here and we will make myself a rectangle. And because it says 2.4 meters and 0.2 meters length and width, we need to make sure that it is 12 times as long as it is wide. So it's a very long rectangle, like this. Now, for the thickness though, it's only 0.05 meters. So the thickness is actually a quarter of the width. So there is our width. Our width here is our 0.2 meters. 0.2. We've got our 2.4 long. But then when it comes to the width, the thickness is only going to be very, very slight. So it's not going to be the best drawing, but it's only very slight. And I might just use their straight line instead of mine. There we go. So 0.2, and then this measurement at the back there is 0.05. Now, it says which of these is the closest to the volume of the soil needed to fill the frame of the garden bed. So we need to first up make this structure. So this structure, as it appears, will be, from the bird's eye view, it will be 2.4 across, and then there's another 2.4 coming here, 2.4, 2.4. But as we can see from the drawing, it actually at the corners, one piece ends when another one starts, which means that we actually have to deduct a little bit of the measurement. And what we end up deducting is actually the thickness. So instead of it being 2.4, it's actually going to be all the way around, as in on this inside area. It's actually going to be 2.4 meters minus the thickness, which is 0.05. So that equals 2.35. We also need to remember how tall this structure is. So it's 0.2 meters tall, but that's 20 centimeters, but that's one plank. We've actually got 2 planks. So it's actually 0.4 meters in height. So we need to factor that in, that it's 2.35 length and width and 0.2 high. So let's write those in all in the same scale, because remember that to figure out volume, which is 3-dimensional, we need 3 values to work with: the height, the width, and the length, or depth as it can be called as well. Either way, you need to fulfill all 3 criteria. They need the 3 numbers for it. So our 3 numbers are going to be 2.35 long, 2.35 wide, and 0.4 high. So now we'll just chuck that into our calculator. .209. And that is the correct answer. And that is in cubic meters, meters cubed. And that was, of course, going to be closest to 2 cubic meters, which is answer B. So I guess you just need to get into the habit of being able to understand how this actually ends up looking. The 2.4 long, make sure you're using the right measurement for how tall it is. So it's not going to be the thickness how tall it is here. They're calling it width. And the reason they're calling it width is because the way that they're interpreting it is from a bird's eye view. This is what it looks like to them. Bird's eye view. I don't know why it deleted itself. Like this. And up here is, I'll go to the brush, up that measurement there. So from one corner to the other. That is their, might as well go with mouse actually. That measurement up here is their length. And this measurement here is their width. But then you've actually got to think that when we make this little garden bed, maybe they're drawing a little bit better, which measurement is actually the length and the width. We can see it's 2.4 meters minus 0.5 just on one side, not on both, only on one side. Another 2.4 minus the 0.5 on that side as well. So you just need to, this is a very tricky question because it is a lot trickier than every other things that they have, because there's a little bit more to take into account. You've got a lot of values here. You need to interpret the diagrams correctly to be able to get yourself that right answer. Realistically though, if you use 3 values that are near correct, you should be getting close to 2 anyways, even if you have slightly misinterpreted. So even if you didn't do 2.4, take 0.05 because of the bit of the plank that actually eats into the length of the whole structure, then you would still get the correct answer. I just want to show very quickly what that would look like as well. If you've got, sorry that these will probably not all be the same size, but if you've got 2.4 and 2.4, if they were all exactly the same size, then there wouldn't be overlap like we have in the actual question. With these, the lines go from the start of one to the end of the other, aside from that little problem there. But here, as we can see, there's this little overlap in that little square there, and same up here and up here. They're not meeting corner to corner properly. It's not the top corner here where my crosshairs is not touching this bottom left of that top rectangle. Hence, we're not getting a complete 2.4 by 2.4. The thickness, which is what we would see from the bird's eye view, when so this is bird's eye view of the plank lying down. This is, if we looked at it, how it would look, a bird's eye view when it's actually sitting up, that would actually make a very, very narrow rectangle, because you're having it be 2.4 long, but it's only 0.05 wide, which means it is much, much, much narrower than it is long. And we can figure out how much the difference is by looking at it on our calculator. 2.4 divided by 0.05, 48. So it's actually 48 times longer than it is wide. That's when it's sitting up vertically, if you will, to make a garden bed. So yeah, this is a fairly tricky question. It requires a bit of imagination, as well as good awareness of what mathematics you need to use and how to apply it correctly. But like I said, even if you had 2.4 times 2.4 times your 0.4, you'd still get close enough to the right answer, given that you just have to say which is closest to. So there we go. Hopefully that was helpful, and there'll be more videos coming soon.